Welcome to Computer Science Principles. Follow along with the curriculum at bjc.edc.org. Unit 3, Lists. Lab 1, Page 1, the Shopping List app. Okay, so Unit 3, Lists, we're going to click. We go through to Lab 1, the Shopping List app. So this is Page 1, and the Shopping List app introduces lists. And let's just watch this little clip. So we see that when you click on add item, it asks the question. When you click submit or check, it adds it to the list. Here's the second item, olive oil, and it adds it to the list. So maybe that's eventually what we have to work on below. So first of all, we have to load this project and then make a variable called shopping list. And then number 3, set the shopping list to an empty list. So those are the items we need to do. Okay, so after loading the project, we have a project with 4 sprites. Now as I click on each of these sprites, the add item, clear list, search, and delete item, I'm noticing over here that there's absolutely no script associated with each of these items. So the first thing we have to do is make a variable called shopping list and set it to an empty list. So inside variables, I'm going to click on make a variable. I'm going to call it shopping list. And then I'm going to set shopping list. Well, if I just set it to 0, then that means this entire shopping list is just going to contain a value of 0. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense because a shopping list is going to have several items with different values in them. So what I need to do to initialize, to get this variable ready, is I need to set it to a blank list. So I'm going to grab over list. I'm going to, instead of increasing it with empty spaces, I'm going to decrease it. I'm going to decrease it until it doesn't contain any value, and I'm going to drag that in there. And so when I click, I've now set this variable shopping list to an empty list. Okay, so after step 3, we're told some block input slots expect a list as an input. So all but the first item of list, that's expecting a list. Item 1 of list, that's expecting a list. Length of list, that's expecting a list. So as you can see, this little square with the 2 orange stripes, that is the icon for a list. Okay, number 4, it says write a script for the add item button so that when the sprite is clicked, it will ask the user for a new item and then add the item to the grocery list. You can use the add or insert list block to modify the list and make sure it works. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we're on add item. Now, one other thing as well that I need to point out is that I've just created this set shopping list to list, and it's inside the search sprite. Now that might not be a big problem, but if ever I needed this elsewhere, I can just drag this onto the other sprites, and then when I go there, I've now set this shopping list to list. So anyway, so I'm inside the add item. I need to ask a question. So when I click on sensing, I now have this option to ask a question. So the question could be, what item would you like to add? So after I've asked that question, I now need to take the answer and do something with this answer. I need to add it to the list. So I'm going to go to variables and look for add thing to list or insert thing at, and then here we have the option over here. So this one might be a good one. Insert answer at last of list, and then this list is going to be the shopping list. So when clicked, so when the add item is clicked, so that's going to be inside control. When I am clicked, I is the add item. When I am clicked, ask what item would you like to add, and then wait, and then insert whatever the answer is at the last line or the last entry of shopping list. So let's see if it works. What item would you like to add? Okay, so eggs has just been added. Let's add one more item. And let's just try one more time. Okay, so the 3 items have added successfully. Okay, number 5 here says write a script for the clear list button that asks for confirmation and then sets the variable back to the empty list. Okay, so basically if I click on clear list, so I need, when I am clicked, I need it to ask for confirmation. So I could ask the question, are you sure? And then if the answer is yes, so back in control, we need an if else. So if the answer equals, and just to be a little fancier, we could also have, or if the answer, so I'm going to duplicate here, or if the answer equals y, and if either of these two things are true, so if answer equals yes or answer equals y, then I need to clear, else do nothing. So let's just think, I could have even just done this with an if maybe. However, the else is there in case we did want to provide some other confirmation. But if both of those are true, then we need to clear the list. So I need to set shopping list to a blank list again. And if it's not cleared, then maybe I could say something. I could say not cleared. Not cleared for 1 second. So let's give it a shot. Clear list. Are you sure? Yes. List has been cleared. Let's add an item again. Now let's try the clear list. Are you sure? Let's try the letter Y. Okay, let's just add a couple of items. Okay, so let's try clear list. Are you sure? Let's say I put no. Not cleared, and that's all good as well. Okay, so take it further. The extension activities. Improve the add item button to add new items only if they are not already on the list. You can use contains to see if an item is already on the list. Okay, so let's try that. So first let's clear the list and put some regular items on there. So eggs, milk, soda. Okay, so in take it further A, it says improve the add item to add new items only if they are not already on the list. So at the moment, if we add item and let's say eggs, well, eggs are already on the list, but when we add this, now we have eggs there twice. So inside the sprite add item, we need to do some kind of validation, some check to say, does that answer, eggs or whatever it is, already appear on the list? So at this point, we need to break this up. So we need to say if the list contains, so if the list contains if the list shopping list contains the answer, then we need to, if the shopping list contains the answer, well, it's really an if else. So if shopping list contains the answer, do nothing pretty much. Else, if it doesn't contain it, then insert the answer. So I'm going to duplicate this, insert the answer at the end of the shopping list. So maybe I also want to put like another one of those messages. I could just tell the user that on list already for just 1 second. So let's clear the list again. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, let's add an item and another one. Okay, so now it's added those items without giving me any messages. But if I add the item milk, now milk is already there, so when I submit, it says on list already and it does not enter milk again. Whereas if I enter soda, which is not on the list, it goes straight onto the list. But now if I try to enter soda again, it should already know it's there, so it just tells me it's on the list already. Next, take it further B. Write a script for the search button that tells the user whether an item is on the list, but doesn't add the item. So within the search, let's click on search. We want to do when I am clicked. So over here, I'm just going to get rid of this now. We want it to do when I am clicked, ask the user, search for what item, and wait. And then we need to check if the answer for that question is on the list. So if item is on the list, say on list, else say not on list. So if list contains, so we're looking for if the list contains the answer, if the shopping list contains the answer, say on list. Else, say not on list. For 1 second. Okay, so let's click on the search. We're asked for the question, search for what item? Let's search for cheese. Now cheese isn't on the list as we see up here, so we're told not on list. If I click again, search for what item, let's put eggs. Now we're told it is on the list. Keep in mind it's not adding anything to the list or taking anything away. Also keep in mind if we search for egg, we're told not on list because egg does not match any of these. We would have to search for eggs. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Okay, take it further. C. Write a script for delete item button that removes an item from the list. So we're going to click on the delete item sprite. We're going to go to control and say when I am clicked. Now we would need to really ask for the item. So ask for what item do you want to delete, and wait. Now first we would need to check if the item is on the list. So this is the same as the search, I guess. So if item is on list, so if list shopping list contains the answer, then we want to delete the item from list. Else, maybe we could just say item not on list. Item not on list, so cannot be deleted. Okay, so if the shopping list contains the answer, we need to delete the answer. So let's see what options we've got here to delete the answer. Well, we've got replace item 1, we've got insert item 1. In terms of delete, we've got this option. I don't see an option here to remove. So we've got delete item 1 of list. Well, the list is going to be shopping list. And let's just think, can we have answer in this box? Delete answer of list. Well, let's try it. Let's put it here. So delete item says what item? Let's type in milk. So when I check it, now milk didn't disappear. So this is where we've got to think, well, what does it expect? It expects a number here. So if only we knew the item number of milk, or whichever item it was. So basically, to find the number of the item, and let's just keep thinking the answer contains milk. Here, the item number is 2. So we needed to say delete 2 of shopping list. Well, you know, there's probably other ways to do this, but one way that I'm thinking of is within some type of a loop. So for I equals 1 to 10, but we don't know that there's 10 items on the list. So what we're going to do is we're going to say go all the way to the length of the list. So in this case, this here holds the value 3 because there's 3 items. So for I equals 1 to the length of the list, we need to check if the item is this answer and then delete. So for each of those, we could now say if the answer to the question milk is the same as item 1 of list. So if item 1 of list, so item I, so I is containing a number. So if item 1 of shopping list equals the answer, if item I equals the answer, so notice what I'm doing. I've basically inside this for loop, which is going to run at the moment 1, 2, and 3 times because there's 3 items in there. So length of shopping list contains a value 3. So I'm saying for I is 1 to 3, if item 1 of shopping list is answer, do something. If item 2 of shopping list is answer, do something. If item 3 of shopping list is answer, do something, and so on. Else do nothing. What I want it to do is, if this is true, I want it to delete number I of the shopping list. So I'm going to drag this in. Now there might be another way to achieve this, but let's just go through this and think what's happening. So when I am clicked, I being the delete item, ask what item do you want to delete? So that captures an answer, which is the blue bubble. Now, if the shopping list contains the answer, then we know something needs to be deleted. Else, just say the item is not on the list for a second. But if it does contain the answer, then it runs this script right here. And then for I equals 1 to the length of the shopping list. So this is where it's going to check each item, because it's going to run if item 1 of shopping list equals answer. Well, really, that should be if item I of shopping list. So I think I dragged it out of there before, but it should be if item I of shopping list. So the first time this is run, item I means item 1 of shopping list is the answer to the question. Then delete it. Delete item I from the shopping list. Else it will go back around and then change I to 2. And if item 2 of shopping list is the answer, then delete the item 2. If not, then go back around. If item 3 of shopping list is the answer, then delete item 3, and keep doing that until we get to the end of the list, which here is 3. And that should work. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to click on delete item. What item do you want to delete? So let's put something that's not there. Coffee. So it tells us item is not on the list. Now let's try and delete soda. Okay, and soda has now gone. Let's delete another item, eggs. Okay, and eggs have gone as well. Okay, so it seems to work. Let's add a couple more items back. Okay, the last bit, D. Think of another improvement and program it. Okay, well, I don't know. What could we do? We've got add items, we've got clear list, we've got search, we've got delete item. So this is very open-ended. If I was to do something here, I might check for plurals of words and singulars. Because just in the example of eggs, if somebody typed in egg, then it would not recognize that word. So that's something else that you could program in at this point. The curriculum has been brought to you by Beauty and Joy of Computing in association with UC Berkeley, also the National Science Foundation, EDC, and the SEP program at the New York City Department of Education.